Good morning. You want to know a secret? When I came into work, I was late. And I had no idea that it had still been snowing overnight. But I still managed to wake up early, and get back to sanity. And I was able to get ready, get to work on time, even though I was, not too late. I mean, by the time I looked back, I sat down, everything was set. I looked back at my watch, it's 9:09. Not a big deal. Now, the secret is, I'm going to be uploading different videos from now on. I'm going to try to show that I'm not just in this office, but I'm in other places as well. I do like trying new things. Okay. My secret is that I have a program. I have a kind of a process that I had gone through when I was younger, and I want to promote it. It's already written down, it's already put together. It's just proofreading it. It's just experimentation and having different drafts and different tasks for different cases. Because I know that I am not the only one who's had to go through this crap as a kid, and even in high school. Anyone who says that they had a great time in high school, that they were popular and they were loved by everyone, is either full of themselves, lying to themselves, or they were the people you avoided. You tried to stay on their good side so that they don't torture you in class, and they don't traumatize you, and they don't, bully you and push you around. You're just trying to survive high school. That is the truth. Surviving high school wasn't easy for me. I don't expect it to be easy for anyone. At a young age, I knew I loved stories, which is why some of my stories are on here. One of them hasn't been looked at all, and it's my first one, called Invisibility. It's just about a ghost. Okay, that's the punchline of it. Alright, that's it. It's just something I just wrote down for fun. It's not something that's part of my life. I've loved ghost stories and Halloween ever since I can remember. It's my dirty little secret. It's my selfish obsession, whatever. I can't help it. I know I don't look it, but I am obsessed with it. Another reason to tell. This is actually my as well as this. See? Huge Halloween fan. I love the harvest. I love the fall. I love everything about it. But that's no secret. Anyone who knows me knows I'm into that. And knows that I am glad I know a couple of people, well, one person specifically, whose birthday is close to Halloween, but she's not a fan. Well, maybe she's a little bit of a fan, but not as big of a fan as she is of hockey. Completely understandable. She was always a better skater than I was. I was clumsy. Anyway. Other thing is, the program I have starts off as an introduction basically just to yourself, introducing yourself to yourself. I know it sounds stupid. I know it sounds like crap. It's not going to help. When I was younger, 13, I knew I loved Halloween. I also didn't know how much I loved the stories, how much I loved just pretending that I was in those stories, that I was in those lives, those kind of eras, you know, what I would do, sort of thing. 101 Dalmatians. I remember, like, if I was next door, I'd be sneaking over one way or another to play with the dogs every single time. I was also one of those kids that figures that there's always going to be, you know, that runt in the litter that is going to be more extraordinary and perfect for that kid that really needs a friend. To me, though, those are the kind of stories that I grew up with. These are family type kind of stories. It's for all ages sort of thing. And I'm speaking from this sense because I grew up with these kind of movies. I grew up with the Family Channel. I grew up with Disney movies. I grew up in a home where books were everywhere. But there was only certain books that were available to me as a kid, except for various other kind of books. Like I remember I found this one book, and in every page I turned, I found not only a puppy, but a tiny, small, little teddy bear chasing around with him, just following him and climbing and just appearing here and there, and it was so cute, and I was like, oh my gosh. My puppy was there when Santa Claus came in. It was the sweetest story. I was like, oh my gosh, I would love to keep this for my kids, because I know it's a perfect kind of story. Oh my gosh, it's wonderful. It's one of those sweeter stories. I'm just remembering Sam I Am, Dr. Seuss, and in one, Green Eggs and Ham. In Facebook, there's a newer, updated picture of Sam I Am, and he is in a hospital bed, and the doctor's telling him, no, Sam I Am, you no longer are allowed to eat green eggs and ham. You can't eat them here, you can't eat them over there, you can't eat them at home, you can't eat them anywhere. And he just, this whole thing, it was really cool. But it was kind of sad, but also kind of cool, because it just proves how old I am. Oh gosh. I also found out at 13 that I've been surrounded by amazing people with different lives and different backstories, not including the people who took me in. I mean, yeah, the interesting thing about him is that he is from Ontario, had to learn French at a fast pace when he started working here, and married his wife, and she already knew French, but she was also a little bit, she had some native blood in her as well, which is one of the reasons why it wasn't, you know, like, which is why she more led into, yes, I'll take native kids in so that they could go to school. I was pretty disciplined. I was the one that needed the most discipline. I guess I was that kind of a kid. I would talk back to them. I tell them, you're not my parents. I don't have to trust you. I don't have to talk to you. I don't have to listen to you. And I was one of those kids, like, I don't have to do what you say. I was like, I want to do this. I want to do that. It's like, I'm going to hide this from you. I'm going to hide that from you. I don't have to listen to you. And I hid several things from, including horror movies and chocolate. Sorry, I was one of those girls, so I did what I wanted. It came to a point, though, that I was trying to look for a specific kind of book when I was a teenager. I mean, I had a chance to watch. I had a chance to read The Hatchet. I had a chance to read The Giver. I had a chance to read well, I've already read To Kill a Mockingbird. I love the book. It's a great book. I had a chance to read Hamlet, and I should have. I still haven't read it yet. I haven't come across it yet. I had a chance to read... oh, man. There's a couple of books in the library that were right there, and I could just take them and read them, and no one would notice. But I think the ones I was looking for the most were, like, the classics. I mean, the ones that all the kids read, like Secret Garden, A Little Princess, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Around the World in 80 Days. There was one specific book I remember. It got me... I was curious. I mean, later on I read Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn. I mean, these two boys. Oh my gosh, Tom Sawyer, genius, but a troublemaker. Huckleberry Finn, troublemaker, but a good boy. Doesn't take him long to go over to the other side. I also noticed a few other things about myself when I was 13. One way or another, I wanted to write something down. I had that quirk. I didn't understand what it was. My hand kept wanting to, on paper and stuff like that. I guess that's one of the reasons why my grandfather had, like, I was always using my grandfather's pen, making sure I give it back to him. It was pretty strict when I was a kid. I'm glad it was. Otherwise, I wouldn't be as... I would be worse than this. I would have become a thief. I would have gone so dark that I would have disappeared completely. To the point where I'm either, I don't know, a prostitute, or I'm gambling, or I've joined a gang or something. I was also that angry. If you had offered me lessons in self-defense at $5 a lesson, I would have said yes like that. That's how bad it was. When the Beyblades came out, I loved fixing them. I loved putting them together. I just loved how all the gears fit. And as I got older, I found K'NEX and started putting those together. Started fixing things up and started creating models for myself. Because that's one of the reasons why I came up with a few extra things for my stories. I kind of miss that. I also can't explain why I know certain things about myself, why I know these things. It's just, I guess one minute I'm writing something down, or I'm messing with Legos and I'm building something and creating something. I just read an article yesterday too about this guy saying, he's talking about his family, and he's talking about how they're still independent and passionate about certain things. And with him, it was creating worlds. And I was like, dang. I mean, it's not a connection or anything. It's not a spark. It's like, I get it. It's kind of like a small piece of understanding. Like if I came up to him today, I'd probably say, thank you so much for having that, for rebelling against your dad and walking out. Because it shows that rebellion, it's sometimes necessary. Because I did it. Okay, if I wasn't a rebel at a young age, at 14, 15, I would have stayed in church. I would have decided to become full Christian or whatever and have, like the whole shebang with what's going on. I wouldn't be wearing earrings. See? I wouldn't be listening to the music I've got, which actually isn't as bad as people make it seem. I probably would have ended up either avoiding and being as miserable as anything, or completely ditzied, where I was happy no matter what, and just happy for no reason, to the point where just like someone can throw a ball at my head and I'd still smile and giggle like, oh, that's so funny. Now, if someone actually threw a ball at my head, I turn around like, what'd you do? Why'd you do that? I'd question it. I'd be like, was it accident? Oh, okay then, alright, just, watch where you throw it. That's all. It's like, ouch. Because some of these things do hurt. I mean, kids have to learn that when you throw something, you gotta be careful who it hits, because it is painful. Okay? One thing you don't want to cause is people pain. I knew that at a young age too. I didn't want to cause anyone any pain or grief. That was also because my mother, the one who raised me, was very big on guilt. And I got the guilt card every single time something happened. She wanted me to be Christian, and I didn't. I didn't want to be that kind of person, because I see how they are. No, I wouldn't be able to stand it. If I go to church, I go for my own reasons. Visiting people, hearing the songs, seeing what's new. Just, listening to someone speak that I know that he completely believes in what he's saying and will actually practice what he preaches. That's the thing with me. I'm not Christian, but I enjoy church. I enjoy the people who go to church and who call themselves Christian. Certain people, not all of them. There are other ones that I try to avoid 24/7 because they've turned into, well, apparently they have to save everyone. But the thing is, some of the people they save, they're only looking for someone who's going to put in a good word, so that they can end up in heaven. The easy ticket to a happy eternity. Really, I look through those kind of people, which is why I'm like this. Which is why I've been making sure that my grandmother understands. She loves the people. She loves being in that environment because it's like this big family. People are always so nice to you, and they talk to you, and they tease you. And I tell you the truth, certain people, when they tease me, I miss that. It's like you gotta miss someone just sound effects every time they tickle you and that, and just just the way it is. I mean, with me, yeah, it's like brother, sister, but then I've also got uncles and aunts, and a nana. They're not biologically related to me, but I see them that way because I grew up like that. I know that about myself. I know that I'm happy when I eat. Sometimes I'm happy when I don't eat. If I want to skip a meal, I will. I can't get away from chocolate. I can't. It's impossible. For me, it's like a dog being away from water. It's like a cat not being allowed to climb things. They're cats. They're gonna climb something, one way or another. If it's you, so be it. Some people just didn't understand then. I don't expect them to understand now. Luckily for me, it is less and less about other people as it is about getting things done. The first part, I'm gonna see if I can put in a trailer once I can get my notes together. The right notes together to show a little bit of a summary of what I do, what I figured out, and how I started. I just introduced myself to you. I didn't tell my life story. Trust me, I didn't tell my life story. I just told the basic parts of why and what I know. What I knew then, maybe, more likely, I should be saying. I can't imagine if anyone would ever watch this and would actually decide that, yeah, I need this in my life now. I think it would be more like, where was this when I needed it? Or how is this going to help me? In order to first start in the process, you introduce yourself, find out who you are, and then you create your twin. You heard me right. Your twin. Someone who's got some similarities to you. Some who you'll see like is almost your reflection. Your mirrored reflection. But I put in traits that I wish I had. Traits that I lack, qualities I lack. I made her beautiful. I gave her 2 different color dyes. I gave her different color dyes. One blue, one green. That's what I mean. She's not easily distracted. She's just as picky as I am. Except she can throw a mean punch. I'm weak. She's strong. She takes on a lot of responsibilities. She's more than happy to oblige and accept any challenge that is thrown her way. I don't chicken out. I just have never been really challenged. Actually, yes, I have. I'm remembering when I was younger. I lost. But I was a good sport about it. I was like, well, congratulations. You've proven me wrong that you are stronger than I am. But if you want to be better than I am, it's not going to work this way. Because this is just a childish game, tell you the truth. And if you're going to be a bad sport, a bad winner, I can see why you have friends. Yeah. It's always picking on the weak. But if it were Lily, she would have beaten him just like that. It's like, okay, next. Oh, I broke your arm? Okay, 1, you're a guy. Toughen up. 2, I must have your balls. If you're gonna act like this and start crying in front of me. Wow. And you say you're better than I am? No, you're not. Because no one cries over something like this. You cry at a funeral. You cry because you miss someone. You cry from happiness or something. Like, you just, your wife just gave birth to your first kid. I would understand then if she cried. Say, that would be Lily. She's a point of reason. She's the head of reason. She's always going to point out that what you're doing is illogical, irrational, and completely childish. Me, I'm not going to point anything out. I'm just going to be like, in my head, wow, you are really being a bitch right now. It's like, I'm just going to do my own thing. I'm not running away. I'm just avoiding this because you're being stupid right now. Believe me, ever see a 15-year-old cry in your car? I mean, a big 18-year-old, well, 18-looking 15-year-old cry in your car over a parent's divorce and saying, oh, it's your fault. Him telling me that his parents told him that it's his fault. At 15, I didn't give a shit. Okay? I mean, yeah, I asked my dad, do you hate that I'm alive? And he looked back at me like, the fuck are you talking about? What are you, deaf? What are you, stupid? I got that kind of dad. Which is exactly why this. Well, almost exactly why. I mean, yeah, I had a shitty father, but I still claim him as my dad. Still gonna say, yeah, he's my dad. If he's, loud and, getting excited over a game in public, and they're gonna be like, is that your father? I'm gonna be like, yeah, the big sports fan? Yeah. Okay. But if he starts walking around in a tutu and a tiara, either he's made up with, I don't know, one of my cousins or something like that, or he found out he has a daughter and his daughter's making him wear that. Yeah, completely understandable, because I don't think he'd do that drunk. I don't know what he's like drunk, actually. He's always an asshole, but he doesn't need to drink to be an asshole. I've gotten bruises from this guy. The kind that that gives you every reason not to want to talk to him. I've been made fun of as a teenager from him. Happy days. Great moments. There's times when I'd say something to my grandmother, and he'd say, shut the fuck up. He literally would swear at me when I said something. My grandparents couldn't do anything. And then sometimes they would say something, and my grandfather would stick up for me every single time. I mean, the one time he said, shut the fuck up, and no one said anything, my grandfather wasn't there. But when he was there, he protected me. It's like, don't talk to her like that. It's like, you don't yell at her like that. And he goes, yes, I do. She's my daughter. I'm allowed to do whatever the fuck I want to her. I'm allowed to say whatever I want. Talk to her however I want. Yeah. It's because I'm his daughter. Great times. The sucky part is that he's now getting his life together. But then again, he's struggled getting his life together for years. Something has always messed it up. Tell the truth, he should have just kept his heels in the ground, right where he wanted to be. Instead, and of course he doesn't like authority. I want to be the boss. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to be right up there because I know I can. The thing is, you have to get used to the place first. I mean, I was used to being young and ambitious and wanting to have a big promotion or whatnot, and not really understanding what a big promotion was at 14, 15, 16, and 17. There was a time that I almost ended up being a supervisor. That I could have ended up running an elder's home. I could have it any way I wanted it. Let them rest. Keep the radio on. Still keeping up with healthy food as well as native food. And maybe letting them try some other kind of food, Chinese food, Japanese food, Korean food, Mexican food, like food from Chile, food from Africa, like all these different kind of dishes I had eaten, I had tried when I was in school, when I was in an international school for International Day. There's all these kind of food, German, and just, oh my gosh, it was so good. Australian dishes. There's a lot of different kind of food there, and I thought, wouldn't it be nice if we could bring it back home to our elders and have them try it? Like maybe it's too hot, maybe it's too sweet, or maybe it needs some salt.